Truly, I am delighted to be here to help celebrate the 60th anniversary of the report of the Committee of Three on non-military cooperation in NATO. I know that you heard from my boss, SecGen, Jens Stoltenberg, earlier this morning. I heard that was quite a delightful panel, actually, with a lot of information exchanged. I'll try not to repeat too much of what he said, but I think there are a couple of points that are worth re-emphasis now as we bring this really extraordinary event to a close. First, though, before I get into that, I wanted to thank Norway House for hosting in this lovely facility and making it possible to all gather together this morning. I wanted to thank the organizers with special thanks to the three permanent representatives from Norway, Italy, and Canada, good friends and colleagues, for their generous support for the 60th anniversary events and activities, including at NATO headquarters. And some of you will have seen the exhibit that's going on at NATO headquarters right now. It's truly making me proud to be up here on the stage with your three flags. So thank you for your support. And I wanted to thank my friends at Carnegie Europe for cooperating in organizing this event. I have, as you know, some history with the Carnegie Endowment, including 3 years in Moscow when the Carnegie Europe Center was opened at that time. And at the time I thought, oh, how great to have some close-by allies. I mean, it was Carnegie Moscow and Carnegie Beijing, and it was really far away, although I did make several trips out there. But to have the Carnegie Endowment established here in Brussels was just a marvelous innovation for that organization, and I'm glad to see you've gone from strength to strength in intervening years. So thank you very much for cooperating on this event. Also interesting, I don't know if SecGen brought it up this morning, but the NATO Archives Committee did a fantastic job for putting together both the commemorative exhibit I mentioned at the headquarters, but also helping to pull together special historical information to enlighten and really strengthen our discussions throughout this period. So I wanted to say a big thank you to them, because archivists sometimes go unsung, but in my experience they are extraordinarily important, both to recollection and history, but also to bringing a new generation along in what they need to learn about national security. So today we are honoring a much admired report that has been impacting NATO for the past 60 years. I want to begin by acknowledging the enormous debt of gratitude NATO owes to the three wise men. They produced a report on non-military cooperation in NATO that has stood the test of time. It contains insights and recommendations that are as relevant, indeed as urgent, as they were in 1956. Also, I applaud the important decisions made by the North Atlantic Council 60 years ago for recognizing the need for the Committee of Three, and that was an historic decision by the NAC at the time. I'd like to just run through a few of the key lessons from the report. Again, a little repetition with what SecGen said this morning, but important to reemphasize a couple of points. One lesson we have all learned: the political commitment to collective defense requires more, much more than a military relationship. The report refers to confidence that other members will have the will to honor their Article 5 commitment, and I think it's worth reminding ourselves of this key point from the report. A healthy NATO requires the confidence that all of its members accept the political commitment for collective defense. And where does that confidence come from? I thought Roland made a great point just now, and it made me sad that I wasn't able to be here for the entire morning, because clearly this has been a very, very rich discussion. Just catching the last moments of this panel proved that to me. But Roland made an important point about all the layers that go into making up that political commitment for collective defense. It comes from confidence that is built on a complete and holistic range of deep relationships, political consultation, yes, but also cultural, economic, scientific, technological ties, public and political support in each nation, engagement of members of parliament and the media, the building of a broad-based community, in other words. That is what makes up the fabric of the alliance. The report of the three wise men helped to create a more responsive and adaptive alliance. I want to echo, again, one of SecGen's main messages from this morning. NATO has always been a learning organization, and this effort in 1956 to create this committee and approve the report speaks to that impressive quality over 50 years ago now. I think the term Atlantic community appears repeatedly in the report, and I think building a community of like-minded nations has been an important strength of NATO over the decades. In fact, now over 6 decades. In closing, I'd like to comment about some remarks that Gaetano Martino made on December 12, 1956, during the Council's discussion about the report. It nicely sums up the situation in 1956 and also our current situation in 2016. He said, "Il faut que nous reconnaissions qu'il n'y a qu'une manière de surmonter les difficultés actuelles, renforcer et élargir la coopération atlantique." And in English, we must recognize that there is only one way to overcome our current problems, by strengthening and expanding Atlantic cooperation. His words point to ongoing imperatives. They are to deepen and broaden Atlantic cooperation, to build a stronger, more cohesive Atlantic community, and in doing so, this is ultimately what will keep NATO strong and our people safe in the years and decades ahead. Thank you again to all of the organizers, and thank you to this audience for what I know has been a rich and intense discussion this morning. Thank you.